Hi everyone, my name's Nolan Gage, and today I'll be showing a demo of my project 2 for CIS 571, which is the REST API service project. So for this project we were to implement two different API web services, one for a participant, one for a coordinator, in order to perform elections. So I kind of put together this little front-end HTML page that lets you start new elections, and then I also have a page that lets you view the election results at the end. So right now I have our coordinator and this front-end application running. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and start these participant services. So participant program has 3 additional arguments that you can add. The third is optional. The first 2 are mandatory. So the first one here is the total number of participants in the system, and the second is the participant ID of this particular service. So this will be participant 1, this will be participant 2, and then I'm going to do something a little different for participant 3. I'm going to add this third argument called S, which makes it vote in something called selfish mode, which means it'll always vote for itself. If you don't put anything here, or if you put anything other than S as the last argument, it's going to just vote randomly. So we're going to make participant 3 vote selfishly. And we can see that these are all running on their own ports. The way I did that was I just took port 6000 and then I added the participant ID to it. That'll make sure that these all have their own unique URIs, so that, for instance, participant 3 doesn't get a participant 1 URI, and try to do something with it. So without further ado, I will start an election now that everything is running. So I'm just going to click the start button, and you can see here this is election 10,001. So I created my own print statements to the console, because if you try to just look at the post requests, it can be a little convoluted and hard to figure out, and they don't always write out in chronological order either. So it's easier just to follow my print statements here. So we can see in the coordinator window for election 10,001, it was created. So we know the first thing that happens when a coordinator creates an election is that it chooses an initiator. So my algorithm always chooses participant 1 to be the initiator. That way the coordinator does not need to know exactly how many participants are active before creating the election and sending an API call to the initiator. So if we look at the initiator window, we can see election 10,001, it's initiated with a vote for service 2. Okay, so we know that the initiator sends a vote to the coordinator, and we can see, if you look at the post log here, proceed to vote for service 2, and we can see the post request, initiator vote, election number, and then the vote was for, I'm going to change my color scheme really quick because I was having performance issues on my last record attempt. Okay, so we can see that it received the vote here. So we know that in addition to sending a vote, the initiator prompts the other participants to vote as well. So if you look at participant 2 over here, we can see in election 10,001 it voted for service 3. And then if we look at the third participant, we know that it'll always vote for itself. So for election 10,001, you can see that it voted for service 3. Now if you look back at the coordinator, we can see that it received these post requests for coordinator participant vote versus initiator vote, and that just includes the election number and the vote. So it received 2 more votes for service 3. Therefore it has 1 vote for service 2 and 2 votes for service 3. That's all the votes, and we can see for election 10,001 it now announces the winner. So if we look at all our other windows, we can see election 10,001 service 3 won. And we can see the API call for this too, where the results are posted with the winner number and the election number. And we can see that in all 3 of the participant windows. So now that we've kind of seen everything in the console here, let me go to my other web page for election results. And once I refresh, I can see, okay, here's election 10,001. And here are the total votes. So service 1 got 0 votes, service 2 got 1 vote, and service 3 got 2 votes. So that's a pretty basic walkthrough. I can show you right now that I can keep creating elections. So I created 3 more. We'll just go and look at the results page, and we can see, yeah, we should always have at least 1 vote for service 3 because it's voting selfishly. And if you look at the service 3 window, yeah, voting for service 3, voting for service 3, voting for service 3. Whereas if we look at this one, it should be random, 3, 3, 3, 1. And then this one random, 2, 1, 3, 2. So, yeah, that's the basics of how this works. See how I'm doing on time. I can walk through just a little bit of the code here. Now, you know what? I have this laid out all in my document, so, or my report. So there's kind of some code explanations there and some design decisions. If you want to check that out, I'm sure it can be made available, and obviously Professor will see it. But yeah, that's all I have, and I hope you enjoyed watching my demo and that my little front-end GUI made things a little easier to see. Thank you.